Today's video is about the border bill, which is about everything than the border. And it's easy to complain, but I believe in more than just complaining. You got to propose an alternative. So even though I'm just a hillbilly from Arkansas, what would a Ramsey Paul bill look like? Unlike this monstrosity that came from Schumer, what would a Ramsey bill look like? Okay, let's take a look. I don't know if people in Congress realize this, but you can pass a bill without including more money to Israel. I know, you may not know that. You may think this is in the Constitution. Any bill design must include more money to Israel, but we don't have to do that. A border bill should be focused on the border, specifically the American border, not the Ukraine border with Russia, not the Israel border with Gaza, no, but the American border. So the first thing I would have in my short border bill, it would just focus on the American border. I know, crazy, isn't it? People are talking about, well, how are you going to get all these people out of the country, all these illegals? How are you going to deport them? Oh, it's going to be violence. I'm like, it doesn't necessarily have to be. You can really self-deport these people. They will self-deport if you have the right policies. And the first thing that we need to get through is no one is allowed to hire an illegal alien. You have to be here legally, which makes sense. So if you hire someone that's illegal, a business, we are going to come down hard on you. We will confiscate your business. We already do this to a degree with like liquor shops. If you should sell liquor to underage kids, you will lose your license. And if you're dealing in child porn, you'll lose your business. Same thing. If you are involved in any business that hires an illegal alien and we found out about it, your business is gone. All your assets are confiscated by the government. So if you have your little restaurant and Juan, the dishwasher, is here illegally, you no longer have your restaurant. It is now the property of the government. That may sound like really harsh, but I guarantee you no one's going to hire an illegal at that point. And the people that come to this country, I don't blame them because they live in a shithole that their people created. They want to come here, and one of the reasons is for jobs. But if there's no jobs, pretty soon they're going to realize, well, there's no point going to America. The next point is that we need to prohibit all forms of charity, including government welfare, hospitals providing free care, attending our schools. That should be illegal. You're here illegally. You cannot take anything from us. So there's no welfare. If you come here, there's no $5,000 gift card. There's no plane ticket to wherever you want in the country. There's no, hey, stay here at this apartment free for a year. No. There's no, oh, I got the sniffles. I'm going to go to the doctor in the hospital and they're going to treat me for free. No, they're not allowed to treat you. Oh, I'm going to send my brood of kids to the public school. No, you're here illegally. You can't send your kids to school. None. Zero. In fact, it's illegal to give charity to illegals. In fact, if you are personally giving charity to illegals, you can be found guilty. None. And again, so you're in the situation here, the illegals quickly learn, well, why would I want to go illegally to America? I can't get a job because no one's hiring illegals, and there's no welfare, so I'm not going to get any money, so what's the point? RICO was a law that was passed in the 1970s. It's called a Racketeering Act to go after primarily the mob. Because part of the problem with the mob is you could get the low-level guys, but how did you get the top guy if you didn't really have the evidence? Well, RICO has solved that. So if you're part of a criminal organization and in charge of an organization that commits crimes, you are responsible too. So this is the way to get to the whole organization. Now, RICO has been used in an improper manner by the FBI against like pro-life groups and everything else. But it's a tool. And we can use RICO now against these left-wing groups, these NGOs that help to bring people here illegally to America. Because these people don't have money. How do they get here? How do they get from Africa to the United States? Well, Soros groups and groups like that are shipping them to the United States. So we can use RICO to shut down these groups and prosecute anyone that's in these groups that are going to be prosecuted. And the FBI agents that are now used to track down grandma that was in the Capitol on January 6th, we're going to use those FBI agents to investigate groups like Soros. And if found guilty, those groups, all their assets will be seized, their bank accounts will be shut down, and if we catch them, they will face trial. People like Soros and other NGOs, just not Soros, but other NGOs. So we're going to have a zero tolerance for creating a racket to try to send people illegally into the United States. And then there's border security. These other proposals will make it really no incentive to come to America, so that will cut down like 98% of the illegals coming in. But you still may have a few remaining people, like terrorists or whatever. Yeah, we need better border security. And yeah, we're out of money, we have a huge deficit, but we're going to fund it because we're going to pull out of all these stupid wars in the Middle East. We have all these bases. We don't need to have the troops there. We do not need to be funding a war with Russia and Ukraine. We do not need to be funding Israel doing their ethnic cleansing in the Gaza. They can fund that themselves. We need to use that money. We're going to divert that money to build the wall, but not just the wall, but overall border security. And the security is not going to be if someone comes in, we put them in a detention center. No, we're protecting our border. We give them warning. Hey, if you cross this line, we will use deadly force, just like Israel does. We're defending our border. Don't come across. It's deadly. We have razor wire. We have men with guns, and we have high-tech infrared equipment, and we're not going to tolerate you getting on our soil. You have to go through the proper process. So there you have it. If Ramsey Paul was president, I would send a bill to Congress that just has 5 points. Number one, the bill would just be about the border, not about the Ukrainian border, but the American border. Number two, there'd be a provision that if you're a business that hires illegals, you lose your business to the government, it's confiscated. Number three, all forms of charity, whether local, state, or federal, are prohibited to give to illegals. They don't get a dime. They can't use our medical services. They can't use our schools. They can't use anything. They're here illegally. Number four, these organizations, NGOs that are trying to push these people into our country to break it apart, we're going to consider them to be as like a terrorist organization, and we're going to have federal law enforcement investigate them, and we're going to use the power of RICO to shut them down financially and arrest their leaders. And finally, number five, all the money we're pissing away on foreign wars, we're going to instead use that money to defend the border. All right, that's my proposal. That's my alternative proposal to Chuck Schumer's proposal. I'll let the Americans decide. I would like to have the two. Chuck Schumer's proposal, Ramsey Paul's proposal, put it up to the vote to Americans. I bet mine would win. Talk to you guys later.